And there we are. As soon as Twitch decides it wants to catch up. There it is. Okay. So, we got a nice end of the week stream, and much as I did with Willow, running some commentary earlier in the week, I've got VideoGameRoulette, who is another dev for the Randomizer, here with me today.
How's it going, everybody?
And... there it is. Okay. I really hope this seed isn't complete garbage. I don't think I've played any that start with a 4. So...
Okay.
Should be a little different, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, here I go. So, much as I did earlier in the week with Willow, VGR, if you would you go ahead and give just a quick little overview of what a randomizer is, what it does to this game specifically?
Alright, so for those of you new to the whole randomizer scene, randomizers take games and shuffle things depending on what the end goal is. So in this case, for this game, we're going to shuffle the items. Some other games also do shuffling of rooms, shuffling of enemies, but like I said, in this case, we're just going to be focusing on items. And so one thing we've done is made sure that at every point it double checks to see like what rooms are open and what you can get to before placing an item. And if any condition is not met, it will guarantee at least something to fulfill that condition. So a very good example is the first item has to be a weapon to be able to break the bubbles to exit on the right. And the second weapon has to be a Nova type item. But if the first weapon was already a Nova type item, then the second weapon can be 100% random, and so on and so forth. And so it tries to be as much random as possible, while at the same time guaranteeing the player will not run into a dead sea.
Fantastic. So you just pushed an update for the game, correct?
Yep. And this update actually...
Right there is the quick example of what that update involved.
Yeah, one of the things was to remove the exit game option from the menu, because a lot of people complained about it, including myself.
Oh, I've done it.
And
I think I did it on stream the other day.
Mentioned it to me and was like, yeah, just remove it. The console doesn't even have it, and it's not allowed to have it because of, stuff and things, because it's console. But yeah, it just never made sense, right? And so now that's removed, and I've also reworked the return to start function, because like originally when I put that in, it was just a quick fix to be able to get people out of soft locks until I had a chance to kind of go back to it and rework it and make it a little bit more like how I originally envisioned it. When I first started this project, obviously, like, I had very minimal knowledge of the game. Like when it came to code, we had a decompiled source, so we had a vague idea of how things were, but not everything came out perfect in that decompiled source. So once we finally did get the complete source, it gave us a better picture of what was going on, and since then I've been kind of little by little documenting everything, so that way, like, when I get around to doing new stuff, like adding animations and stuff, it becomes a lot more seamless transition, doing all that kind of stuff now.
Fantastic, and we're gonna go ahead and get Zeta out of the way, because I ain't doing Falc strats. You saw the post in that on Discord, I can only imagine.
I don't think I have.
Oh, so last night, in just some casual time, me, Falc, and Archmage were just running some randomizer seeds, and it came up that Falcon's strat apparently is to just skip Zeter.
Oh yeah.
And Ark was like, yeah, I call it Falc strat, and Falc's like, I don't want that named after me. So, for those not in the know, on the Discord channel, we have a bot that lets us pull up different commands that were set on the channel. The quick pull up information for different like demonstrations and glitches and things like that. And so Ark went and added a command for Felk Strat that just says skips eater. Skips eater, don't regret it, something like that. Blame Felk if it goes wrong.
Yeah.
And then a dab at the end. And it's like, that's great. It's hold it. Like, feel bad for Felk, kind of, but at the same time.
Right.
Thank you, Thoriel. I hope it goes good. It's not the greatest I've seen so far, but it's not the worst either. It's been a while since I've played with data bombs. Oh. I gotta find something to come back there shortly. Hopefully shortly. Hopefully right here. Nope.
Hey, at least you got some power.
True, and I know where grapple is. So while
was it in the peekaboo room there on the left?
He sure was.
What a tease. What a tease.
Right? And it's like, this is the kind of seed I hate getting, where it's like, I know something is right there and totally within my reach, but I literally can't get it.
Well, as soon as you get address 1, you can get it, so...
Yeah. That, or drone, or...
Yeah, or drone, yeah. But it shouldn't be too long before address 1. So I figure you're gonna get that before drone, unless you get really lucky.
You would think that, but more often than not, no. It's usually the other way around. Like, more often than not, I get drone long before...
Well, yeah, that's true. If you get it as your drill weapon.
Yeah, and that's why I tend to get it. Oops. That's why I tend to get it.
If you don't get it.
Oh, yeah, I mean, well, we'll see here.
Yeah. Ooh.
I mean, that'll work. So we're going to go ahead and give the example of respawn at start. Does this now.
Yep.
And apparently crashes the game.
Wait, what?
Yeah, the game just crashed.
Interesting. Okay. Let me push an update. I'll just revert it quickly and then I'll fix that later. That sucks. It was working in Iribu, but as soon as you get to Apsu, it breaks. So it's something to do with that, I'm assuming.
It could be. That's on your end. I couldn't tell you on that one.
Yeah. So I will push an update. Just give me a moment. Actually, I don't need to push an update. I'll just revert it. That's faster.
Don't you love just fixing stuff on stream?
Right? Alright. Get my code here. Bam, bam. Okay. And randomizer. Revert to 1.63. Okay. It's reverted.
Alright, let me...
Just verify and it'll...
Yeah. Yep, there it goes.
Yep.
This time it's showing an updated queue, so...
Yep.
Or a queued update. I don't know why it didn't the last time. It was just like, bam, done with this one.
Right.
We're gonna go ahead and just start this over.
Yep.
Mostly because I don't know where it's gonna put me if I try to reload that.
It might even crash.
And it might just recrash, so... Quick start over and... Yeah, okay.
Yep, you weren't too far. Luckily.
Yeah, fortunately this wasn't, a half hour into the run.
Right. But thank God we noticed this now, not long after pushing the patch. So.
Right. Conveniences of knowing people who play the game, right?
Right. Well, no, more conveniencing of having one of the devs on stream.
Well,
be able to fix it that quick.
I meant from your end.
Yeah. Well, I can just play it myself, right?
Well, yeah, also true, but I mean, would you have thought right away to just immediately do that? It just happened to be that I have a seed where it makes sense to bother to do so.
Well, I just never tested in another area. I made an assumption, which is a bad thing. I'm not sure why it crashed. I'm gonna need your log later just so it can tell me what made it crash.
Yeah, we'll get y'all taken care of that.
Mm-hmm. And then I'll get that fixed right away. See, I should have known going to another area and test it first.
It's fine, because thinking about it, I actually forgot to go and do a check, so I think this kind of actually technically works out in my benefit.
Oh, the top area? Top left?
Yeah, I forgot to go check the very top.
Yeah. There's a quick way to check that too, but you need to have drone early. Because, you know the room just below it?
Uh-huh.
You go into the bubbles, then you let the drone exit the room and recall it, and then you get zipped up into the room above.
Of course that's a thing.
Right. Yeah. And then you just walk right until you get into the door, and then it'll bring you back to the camera lock on trace. And then that way you don't have to dig, you don't have to fucking get past all those dudes.
So I think that this is a good time to bring up that VGR is a person who plays this game on the Masochist difficulty.
Yeah.
So the randomizer has different difficulties in which it can determine a bunch of things, and why don't you go ahead and give a little bit of a
explanation on
the differences in the difficulties.
Okay, so like we have 3 different progressions. The first one being default, which is meant for people who don't speedrun this game and don't really intend on looking up glitches or exploits and stuff. So we will never expect you to have to do some glitch or exploit on the default mode, and everything should be available to you nice and easy. This way, it's like a nice introduction into randomizers until you get used to what you can and can't do. Then, once you start getting a little bit more familiar with that, you can move on to advanced, where we've taken a no major glitches approach. So, just like in no major glitches speedrunning, we don't really do many glitches, but we do use a lot of movement tech that would be considered somewhat of an exploit. A good example would be chain teleporting, right? Usually there's a cooldown on the teleport, and if you use another tool like the drill or the address disruptor or even the grapple technically, although I would not recommend it, it will reset the cooldown of the drone, thus allowing you to teleport again. And so those little exploits are okay, right? But other than that, we try to keep the exploiting to a very minimal for the logic and even advanced. And then finally, we have Masochist Mode, where we pretty much tell it, you can beat the game with just 3 items. Red coat, grapple, and high jump. So as long as those are available on the map at any given point in time, it almost doesn't care where everything else gets put. Although, there are sanity checks to make sure an item doesn't get locked behind needing itself. So,
with the small exception of address bombs? Because I don't know if you ever updated that. We did find out that in some major glitch stuff, you can get into some address bomb areas without having address bombs.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, like, You won't have like
red coat behind a wall that takes red coat to get through.
Yeah, exactly. Or passcode in a passcode room. Well, you shouldn't, but we've had that happen once. But I think I have that fixed now, hopefully. But
anyways,
for the most part, that shouldn't happen. But there are some cases where it's just like what we try to do is if a case happens where it locks itself, we try to roll it to another location. And as long as that other location doesn't have a progressional item in it, it will swap it out. And sometimes, and it's just sheer luck of the draw in randomizing, right? We will try 1,000 times to move it. And those 1,000 times will all be progressional spots that it fucking chose. So we have to gracefully exit out of this loop somehow, right? And so eventually we just give up and say, okay, just put it there. Fuck it. So, you know, as much as we want to do all these sanity checks and make sure everything is 100%, you know, eventually you got to just give in to the code and just let it do what it wants. So hopefully that doesn't cause any dead seeds. And so far it hasn't.
No, I'd say things have been pretty solid so far.
Yeah. Especially now that we've added the multiple layers of logic per location and per progression, it's definitely helped it a lot. I think that's what really stepped up our item placement logic.
Yeah, the thing's been getting me lately is like all my seeds spin last item red coat, and I'm just like, ugh, why?
Yeah. That happened to me the other day. Like, I was playing a seed, looking for red coat, and funny enough, I had a theory where it was, and it was there too. Funny enough, I just didn't search the one room that it was in that area.
Oh, was that the one you were doing live last night?
Yeah. So,
oh yeah, I saw that.
So basically, the way I route, okay, I go Iribu, Apsu, Z, Ukana, then Kerr, then Eden, then, or well, sometimes I'll go Kerr, sorry, I said that wrong. Iribu, Apsu, Z, Ukana, Kerr, Ikerma, then Eden, then Maru. That's usually the order I do. And so, like, when I went to Ukana on the suspicion that Redcoat was in there, I checked everywhere but the one room that spawns after Vision's dead. The one where you have to use drone to get into, usually.
Right.
And, like, just forget one spot. That's all it takes. My run could have been so much faster if I had checked, but nope. Completely forgot about it.
Bad VGR. That's such an early, easy check in Ukana, in my opinion, because that's when I always bother to check. And it's good to know that, you know, it's possible for Red Code to actually show up there.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where I'm gonna throw you under the bus and embarrass you on stream. VGR is the person we like to refer to in the community as our community task bot. You want to explain why that is?
So, when it comes to speedrunning games, there's a lot of tech that people say is not humanly possible, and then I end up coming in and proving it's humanly viable in some way or another. And because of this, I've been given the nickname the Human Task Bot.
What? How fast was that one God Seed you got down to? What's the time on it now?
10 minutes something.
Yeah, like, that's so ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the idea of just being able to complete a run in 10 minutes just sounds insane.
Yep. We've always had a theory it was possible, but until we actually had this version of the randomizer, it was hard to find that seed, right? But with this version of the randomizer, I could actually output like
Oh wait, what am I
a
doing?
file that tells me every seed that has certain conditions, and then run those specific seeds to see how they fare.
I'm
We actually ended up
backtracking.
having like a few thousand god seeds that
Jeez.
could produce like 10-minute seeds.
I'm backtracking currently because I'm an idiot and I never think of things ahead of time. Also, I'm still really bad with address bombs. It's one of them things that I need to get more seeds that have them early, and well, hey, fortunately I got one today.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because I totally forgot I can go over here.
Right. You can get to all these spots except for the far top right.
Bingo. Question is, do any of them have anything good?
This is usually my hot spot for good items, but every once in a while it fails me. Because there's 4 places, right? So like the odds are like greatly in your favor to check here as early as possible. But
I don't usually find too much here, but I do generally get at least one full health, or one health node or one power node out of it.
yeah.
So it's like incoming
I've got
through.
red code, drone teleport, all sorts of things in there.
And see, that might be a bit of a difference in like how the logic works between the two, because I've never seen any of them in there.
Yeah, it could be a masochist thing. Because masochist is less, picky with where it wants to put things.
Yeah, it's just going to go, oh, we can place it here? Let's place it here. For the
Yep.
kind of most part.
Like, if it's possible, it'll place it.
And I've seen some stuff on a run or two that you did that was just placed in ridiculous places, and it's like, how? Why? Why would you ever do this to yourself?
Right. And then you see some of the ridiculous ways I get into places. Even if I have the condition to get there normally, I practice these strats. And again, this is why people call me the human task bot, is because instead of going with the easy strat, I always go with the harder strats, just so that I get better at those,
You have that insane... oh, I hate when this one gets stuck up here. You have that insane Maru Strat.
Yep. So that strat is like a pixel perfect dash jump into a near frame perfect rocket jump. So you're dashing to the right and jumping at the same frame. Well, actually, you're coyote jumping essentially. And
Hey, there we go.
if you're lucky, you get past that one tile that everyone keeps bumping, right? And once you're past that, the second part's a lot easier because we found the whole buffering of inputs for rocket jump. So you just hold upright and then tap up once on the frame. You hear the beep for the cooldown to finish. You know what I mean?
So, how long have you been doing like game dev stuff for?
2010, so 11 years.
Very solid. What's probably what's the weirdest thing you've seen?
Weirdest?
Yes.
Like
in terms of just things that were strange and in maybe how something was designed or programmed, or a bug or just something weird.
Okay. So, like, a good example of something weird that, like, was hard to explain at the time, and it took a while to figure out how we should patch it. So have you ever played Call of Duty Nazi Zombies?
No, but I'm familiar with it.
Okay, so you know how you kill all the zombies, the next round starts, and the number at the bottom increases each round that you finish, right? Well, someone found a glitch where if you killed the last zombie and stood in a specific spot in the map, it wouldn't detect you, and so it wouldn't spawn the zombies for the next round. And since no zombies were in the map, because it would like do a count for all the zombies, and like if for X amount of time there's no zombies, it thinks the round ended, and then it would just keep insta rounding essentially.
I don't have a way out of here, do I?
At this point, no.
Yep, because there's no way I can grapple back up. Cool.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that one.
Yeah, it happens.
Yep.
Anyways, continue.
So yeah, so the rounds would just continuously increase every like couple of seconds, you know, and eventually they would hit the max number, which was like 2,147,000,000. And yeah, that was interesting.
It's like a little bit of an oversight.
One day we wake up and the leaderboards say someone reached around 2 billion. It's like, what? That's impossible. You would have to play for this many years to fucking play. You know, like, it didn't make sense. And at first we didn't know how it was done. And then the person who did it released a YouTube video.
No, of course they
I was
did.
brought into the office to watch it and kind of figure out what happened, right? And so I seen what they did. I recreated it on my console, and then I also had it connected to my PC with a debugger tool. So as things are happening, it's actually outputting the console logs to that debugger tool. And that allows me to know what's running when in sequence, right? And then at the exact time that the glitch would happen, I could see exactly what was happening in the code, and then go to the rest of the guys and be like, hey, this is what happened.
Hey, you
this is how we
goofed.
fixed it. Yeah. It's like, oops. So they had to just increase the area, because imagine that one spot, it like put you out of bounds. So because you were out of bounds and outside of the rectangle of the room, essentially, the zombies couldn't detect you. And since the zombies couldn't detect you in that area, it didn't know where to spawn the zombies. And since it couldn't spawn zombies, it would just always read there's 0 zombies, so the rounds ended.
That's so super weird.
Right?
Okay, I like that. That's a good one.
Yeah.
What's been your, let's say, favorite thing of working on Axiom Verge's randomizer?
My favorite thing, so like when it first all started, right? When it was a mod and I joined the team, I was really excited because like this game, when I first played it, I loved it to death. And I always hated that I couldn't play it again blind for the first time, right? And so when I heard there was a randomizer for it already, I was just in awe, because like that would give me that experience that I want every single time I want to play the game, because I don't know where everything is. So again, encourages that re-exploration of everywhere, right? Even though I know the game off by heart, it doesn't matter, because like if we were to both run the same seed, both of us will dramatically make a lot of different decisions throughout the run, because we'll think this might produce something versus this, right? And it's great. And once Tom contacted us to actually integrate it officially, I was so excited, because like a lot of times with stuff like this, mods and fan games and all that stuff, not as much developers, but publishers will tend to send out those DMCAs and shut them down and whatever, right? A good example, AM2R and Nintendo, right?
I'm so sad about AM2R as well, because it was so good. For anyone who hasn't seen much of it, a buddy of mine and me sat down and did a playthrough of it back when it actually first came out. You can find that over on my YouTube.
Nice. It's actually been updated and changed a lot since then.
It has.
If you haven't played in a while, you try it again. They
in fact also added a randomizer to it after Nintendo was
Yeah.
like, yeah, no, we can't have this, and they shut it down. And then the community was just like, yeah, we're gonna fix some issues with the game and add a randomizer to it. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. There's like, once something hits the internet, there's not much they can do. Like, they can DMCA the original dev, whatever, but that doesn't stop everyone else from continuing his work. And what are they gonna do? DMCA everyone?
Good luck DMCAing the internet.
More money in lawyers doing that than it is to just let it happen. Because each time you have to get a lawyer to write up that DMCA shit for you, it's costing you money. So, it just never made sense, why people would do that. Like, and that's why I was happy for the guy that happened to, because like shortly after that, the guys at Moon Studios, Ori and the Blind Forest creators, hired him to work on Ori and the Will of the Wisp, aka Ori 2.
And from what I hear, he loved every minute of doing it too. Right? If I remember hearing from a blog post that came out from him afterwards, because he had put a thing up on the blog that he was keeping up with AM2R, and was like, I have big news, but I can't tell any of you what it is currently. And it's like, I really want to tell everybody. And when it later came out that when the game got announced, because he got hired before the game was announced, which is why he couldn't mention anything.
Exactly.
And then everybody was just like, "Oh shit, that's freaking great and amazing, and super happy for you." Hit.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I still can't get there though. I'm used to doing that one when I have like coat 1, because it's like without high jump, you can just barely make it to that ledge.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's right. They also added a fusion mode into AM2R. I think that came after the randomizer. I can't get up there either. Man, I don't like this scene. That or it don't like me, one of the two.
Technically you can get in there. We found a way. It's pain. I'll just say that.
Well, that makes
like
it
the perfect grapple trick.
Ew.
Yeah. We only considered a thing on Masochist. Lucky for you guys.
I mean, yeah.
The way I looked at it is, if it's possible, it's part of logic for Masochist.
And I mean, to be fair, that's
why I called it
fair
Masochist.
logic.
So, if you play it, don't blame me if you get lost or if you get stuck. Because I can beat every Masochist seed I've ever played, and anytime someone said one was dead, I have proven them wrong. So...
And Masochist assumes that, at least in a little bit of the sense, you want to torture yourself.
Yes.
And it's like, between you doing stuff and Beef doing stuff, it's like, the amount of things that you can get to with so little is so ridiculous.
But I did also use a heavy hand when deciding when to add or not add logic. So a good example, right? If only one of us could do a trick, and that one of us could only do it once in a blue moon, I wouldn't add it. But if multiple people could do that trick, and it was a once in a blue moon, then I might add it, depending on how often that trick can be acquired, like, can be completed, you know?
And I think if I remember you talking about it correctly, a large part of that was you tuned it around things that Falcon could do.
Yes. Yeah. I used Falcon as my test dummy, so this way, like, it's not just me that could do stuff. I wanted to make sure that someone of equivalent skill, but someone that doesn't do a lot of glitches, like he's more the no major glitches person, but he's still a skilled player, right? So if he could do it, then most other skilled players could do it, you know?
I'm gonna laugh when, like, a code's here. Just because I had 82 or address bombs in the case to come in the backside of that, but not go through the correct side of it, like, that would have been a perfect place for it.
Yeah, the first coat will normally spawn anywhere between Iribu and Kerr. Whether it be white coat, brown coat, or red coat.
So, like, that's the thing that really gets me is so, like, the last, like, 8 seeds that I've run on stream and whatnot have all been red coat last. And me, Falcon, and Archmage sat down last night to do some runs, and both seeds we had red coat within like 10 minutes. Right. And I'm just like, come on, game. It's like, I get it. It's like, I kind of actually prefer to have red coat in like later progression, in the sense of like what I want for a GDQ run. Because it's like, I want something where I can really show off a good amount of the randomizer. I have high jump. Now where do I go? Brain thing. Oh, right. Okay. So it's like, I want to be able to show off a good amount of the randomizer and what it can really do and what can really be done. But at the same time, I want a seed that's going to give me red coat kind of early so I can go fast. Because that's what GDQ is all about, is got to go fast.
Or at least, like, drone teleport early.
Well, I usually always get drone teleport early. It's always red coat that's the killer for me.
See, I never find teleport in a lot of my speeds, which is why I ended up, like, practicing the grapple strat so much in Masochist Mode, is because I never know when I'm going to have teleport or not. And so I want to be prepared for those races when I don't.
Right, I mean, that's totally fair.
A lot of the times when I'm racing people, we place a handicap on me where I have to find teleport before going to Maru.
Yeah, so going back to VGR being the community test bot.
Yeah.
I know where enhanced is now.
Nice.
And the problem is I don't have a way to get it.
Don't you have grapple?
I mean, I could grapple clip through the floor. But that's one of those things I generally try to avoid doing in my runs.
Yeah.
Like, I try to generally avoid using the masochist logic, even though I could actually do half of it. Mostly because, like, what I'm generally practicing for is for GDQ. So it's like, I want to practice what I'm going to do at GDQ, which is, like, I'll use the basic stuff that's been seen in any percent. So drug skip, sentinel skip, temple skip, those kinds of things. But I don't want to just completely break the game open, because then it's like, well, you might as well just be playing a masochist seed at that point. And the problem there is I figured that kind of thing might turn a lot of people off on it. Being that people are going to go, oh, the randomizers just use a whole bunch of glitches to get all over the place. Right. And, like, a lot of what I wanted to do was, you know, kind of show it off and get some, see if you know, there's probably people out there who are completely unaware of it and would be totally interested in this. And it's like, maybe it'd be a way to bring them into the community and get them playing. And we could start filling up the randomizer leaderboards.
Right. I'm actually thinking of adding it directly to the Steam version, just like all the other stuff is.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, it's just regular.
Can't get out of here.
Did you save before entering?
No, I said back in Kerr. Because I usually always save in Kerr.
Okay.
Kerr's kind of where I use as my hub for moving around places. Because, you know, any percent. So it's a place that I'm generally comfortable with having stuck as a place.
I'm quite curious where all your shit got placed.
Huh?
I'm like quite curious where all your shit got placed.
Like, I feel like I missed something somewhere, and I think I have an idea or two, but...
Right. You're on advanced, right?
I am on advanced.
I'll get the seed from you in a second. Because I'm curious. I won't tell you where anything is.
Oh, this is a, yeah, no spoilers.
Yeah.
But man, this one is...
There's all this talk of no dead seeds, and then all of a sudden we find one. Right?
Right? I think I have another... I think it...
There's places you can search still, but...
Yeah, I'm just thinking to myself, it's like, I think I know of another couple places I can go, but I'm just gonna walk along my normal route here for a second. Take a quick peek at what's up here.
Yeah, next time you save and quit, let me know the seed, and I'll just double check to make sure it's not dead seed for you.
I doubt it is. It's just, it's one of those seeds that's going to make me go do a lot of back and forth.
Yeah, I agree. Like, it could be here in Apsu.
Like, this is going to be, like...
Or it could be in Ukana.
This is going to be the seed that...
Well, actually, technically, Ukana is not in Logic.
Yeah, that would make sense. This is going to be the seed that makes me hit the upper end of my estimate.
Mm-hmm.
And it's seeds like this is why I set the estimate at 90 minutes. Oh my god, I hate these spiders. I'm gonna... I think going... Yeah, this would probably be faster. No, I actually can't go out this way because I need a coat. Okay. Okay. So I know where I've got to go back to for a couple of checks, but I got to actually walk them back because I have none of the things to shortcut anywhere. Yeah, this is why my estimate is 90 minutes, because I just know that with my luck, I'll end up getting some kind of seed like this, where it's like, go all the way over here for one power-up. Go all the way over here for one power-up. I was supposed to give you the seed when I saved and quit there.
Don't worry, I got it.
You net that fast then.
I just rewound the stream.
Yeah, that works.
How often do you see somebody do Yellow Hallway in reverse?
Right.
Usually only when I play. Not many people want to go into yellow as is.
That's a completely fair assumption. I generally don't.
Right.
I'm thinking to myself, it's like, do I want to go save? I should probably go save because I'm about to go into a very terrible hallway that I've died in too many times. Also, I have this to check now. Hey, there we go. We're getting somewhere now. I hate backing up my save, but... So I know there wasn't much in Ereboo at the very least. Alright, VJ, another question for you. What's been your least favorite thing about working on the randomizer? Because I know this is kind of like, you know, a big passion project for you, so it's like somewhere in there. It can't have been all rainbows and sunshine. Somewhere in there, things had to have not gone right or not been working out right. And like, what's been the worst thing in working with it?
Well, when I first started and it wasn't integrated to the game, it was all done in Visual Basic using like assembly rewriting and stuff like that. And I hate Visual Basic as is, let alone having to do rewriting in assembly code. So that was definitely a major learning curve for me, although it did teach me a lot about how to manipulate assembly code in different ways. But trying to think what was like more recent. I guess it's just, you know, trying to figure out everything with very little documentation, you know? And I understand Tom is like busy man working on Axiom Verge too, so I can't expect him to, you know, help me out all the time. So a lot of the times I'm just sitting there reading through the code and just like trying to get myself familiarized and catch up before doing something, right? And usually in other projects you'll have a lot of people to bounce off of, but in this case, you know, I just have me and my small team, so it's
great. I'm not walking back through this hallway again.
Yeah, it's definitely been a challenge at first getting everything, you know, figured out. But once we started getting things documented and started getting the hang of how everything worked together, it started going like downhill from there and becoming a lot easier. You know what I mean?
So it was all the initial building blocks was the worst of it.
Yeah. Once we got the first initial demo done, it was pretty much easy peasy from there. Like anything else, right? It just takes practice, and once you get used to something, then it just becomes intuitive, right?
That is generally the case.
Yeah. Alright, let's take a look here. So have you found your coat yet?
I got trench coat,
yeah,
yes.
Oh, nice.
And I'm gonna head over and just grab enhanced drone launch right now while I'm here. Oops, that is the wrong way swing.
Oh, that's where that is. Okay. Okay.
Ah, you're torturing me now.
Ah! I can't wait for you to find that. You're gonna laugh.
Ah.
I never thought that could spawn there.
Oh, now I'm concerned.
It's not something that would soft lock a game, but interesting, nevertheless. That's the first time I've seen it spawn there. So. Oh.
This is what I get for playing with the like higher end of the seeds. I don't. How high do the numbers actually go with the seeds? Because like I've seen them up with like starting with a 4. This is like the first one I've seen.
They go all the way to 9999999.
Yeah, because like in just smashing through random numbers,
well,
I don't.
Actually, no. Sorry. Random numbers they go to 4.2.
Okay.
Or something like that.
So I'm hitting the upper end of.
Yeah.
All the seeds, and it's
because
like this would be why I never see this combination.
That the randomized thing for seeds only takes integers, right? So that means only a 32-bit number.
Right.
But we wanted to be able to give you 10 slots because a 32-bit number can give you 10 slots. But we didn't want to have to like check to make sure you're putting in a valid number. So if you put a number over it, it overflows it and goes back to the beginning kind of thing. And so there's going to be cases of like a few doubles and very little triple seeds. There's going to be at least one set of everything doubled, and then there's a third set where like there's a few extra of the first beginning seeds again. And
actually, let's go check this because I'm insane.
That was the best we could do.
Come back. It's like I'm insane enough to go run over here and get this.
Hmm. We were also debating on making it alphanumeric at one point. So you can type in words for seed names.
I think I remember hearing something like mentioned about it at some point a long while back.
Mm-hmm. We decided against it just so people don't type in naughty things.
Shit. That's probably gonna get me killed. Nope, because I missed the one. Sudrin key. There's gonna be something locked behind a Sudrin key spot, isn't there? That's my luck. It's fine, I'm on track. I'm keeping up with myself.
Let's see what you got so far. You have 2 out of the 3 I need to complete a seed.
2 out of the 3 you need to complete a seed. That's the ridiculous part. So it's like, what all? I'm not going that way. What am I thinking? What all do you actually need to finish the seed completely? Like, just start to finish. What is the bare minimum that you can complete an entire seed with?
I need 4 things. Okay? I need high jump. I need grapple. I need red coat. And the weapon. Doesn't matter what it is. Hopefully something that can shoot through walls so I can cheese Athetos, but if not, I have done low percent with worse conditions.
I mean, you, if I remember correctly, once again, you have a run where you ran the entire game with nothing but the disruptor.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from, like, the obvious 1 or 2 spots where you need to, like, use Nova to open a gate in the beginning and...
Exactly.
that kind of thing. But other than that, it was just start to finish, nothing but disruptor. And it's like, how? Why?
Right.
It's like, I get it. I could probably do it. It doesn't mean I want to. Though I've considered doing it just to be the only other person who has the time for it on the leaderboards.
Right.
It still doesn't mean that I want to.
I think it was Code or Jet. I can't remember
who I have Code.
Was the one that came up with the category. And, like, I was like, oh, I'm down.
You're like, yeah, no, sure, let's make this a thing.
Yeah.
I am not fighting Gear Tab today. I ended up doing that on my run with Willow because I had Fat Beam and like 3 power nodes. So I was like, I'm just gonna go obliterate Gear Tab right now.
And if you think having 3-4 items in this for randomizer is insane, oh, just wait. We have some surprises in store for you guys. That's for sure. And that's all I'm at liberty to say.
Just started to see peak items, trench coat, and AD bot. Oh. Like, you got a better run going than I do.
Right? I'd much rather have trench coat over AD.
I mean, when it comes to randomizer, I can kind of go either way on it, because, like, both are going to lead me to checks. Like, yes, I'd obviously prefer trench coat, but it's like, AD is also going to get, like, a whole bunch of things, and it's going to get me progression out of the starting area, so it's like, I'll take it.
Well, see, trench coat can get you through all the progressions that address 1 and address 2 can pretty much get you through. So, and it also increases the speed of which you can check things. So that's why ultimately that's the more important item for me. But yeah, either is good.
I still wouldn't complain with either.
Yeah, obviously.
Personally, it's better than having address bombs.
Yeah, yeah, and like, I wonder why Tom went with that decision of address bombs. Because, like, I can get wanting something different. Because, like, obviously, like, he already had the 3 coat thing. And having 3 address disruptors would have been kind of, you know. I don't know. But the one thing that I didn't like about address bombs is that when you use an address bomb, it actually slows down the timer while it's running. And so, like, it really, like, breaks the whole, like, reason for using an in-game timer, you know what I mean?
I mean, to an extent, but I mean, like, it seems like it just literally slows the entirety of the game itself. So,
yeah,
it's
well,
like
what it's doing is it's slowing the frames down.
Right.
And since the frames are slowed down, the effective frames being ticked for the timer have slowed down, and yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it fits thematically.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, probably what Tom was going for, was...
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Tom, I know it's been mentioned in GDQ before, but I always think it's interesting to mention a couple of things about him when I'm just generally doing runs and trying to make conversation here. One being that he mentioned at a GDQ that in Grapple Room he could have added less enemies into that room.
Yeah.
Which I personally just think is hilarious. The fact that even he acknowledges that there's just too many enemies in there.
Yeah, and funny enough, like, the first time we had a meeting together, I was like, don't take any offense to this, but I have to ask this. And he's like, okay, shoot. And I'm like, so who pissed in your cornflakes the day you fucking made this room? And I showed him the room on screen share. And he just started laughing, and he's like, why? I'm like, I don't know. Every time I go through the room, it feels like someone pissed you off and you were just taking it out on the player or something. He's like, to be honest, the rest of the game was like that initially too. And like, he went back and like reworked a lot of the game to make it like more balanced. And that was just one of the rooms that I guess he missed. And he also assumes that as well, but he can't be 100% certain, you know? And yeah, it's just
that's what I was coming up here
you know?
That's the little tidbits you find out about.
Right? Like, I've broken a controller to that room. That's why I said, like, who pissed in your cornflakes? Because, goddamn, I can feel it. I feel it in every death in this room.
Can you imagine how much different of a game this game would be if every room was like that room?
Right.
I really hope there's something up here, because there's not much else I can actually do up here.
Right.
There's not. Great. Shoot. Oh. Okay. I don't think I... Ooh, can I get out of here?
You can, but...
Because this is just enhanced room.
What maps have you searched so far? Iribu, Apsu, Z, and Gur?
Yeah, I think I'm going to head off to Okinawa now, because there ain't much else I can check for the point in time being.
That'd be a good idea. I tend to try and check Okinawa before Gur unless I'm forced to look into Gur.
I have one thing
because I know, although in this case, because you already have trench coat, it's less of a likely chance, but it still has a chance, right?
Right.
Because that location is where trench coat spawns originally, there's a chance that a coat can spawn in that location if it decided to just keep it in its vanilla location, right?
Gotta love vanilla spawns.
So I tend to always search those vanilla locations just in case it didn't do that, but it's not always guaranteed, right? Sometimes it'll get moved out of there.
Right.
So searching those places can be both like a good and bad thing. It can work for you or against you sometimes.
Personally, I like to just try and clear out as much out of an area as I can before moving on to another one.
I usually do that too. Yeah, I usually do that too. So that's why I said, unless I get forced into Gur, I try to search Gur after Ukina, right? But yeah, I do the same thing. I like to search every place I can before moving on.
I just thought of one other thing, and it's stupid to go do, and I hate doing
Another
it.
big thing people don't realize is like, the way I've made it generate the items, the item order. It's in order of when in vanilla progression it would be open. So once you get to a specific room in progression kind of thing, you know where you are sort of in that generation.
I really hate going to check this room without Fat Beam.
Oh, tell me about it.
But
the
it's
other
like
night my girlfriend was fucking laughing at me. Like I'm streaming and I have my phone open because she's using text instead of talking in chat. And I'm in the room, and I'm just like, come on, Krills, just work with me. Get the fuck down here. Like,
right.
No, come on. Like,
Krills are literally the worst.
Yep.
And then they'll come down, and then they'll do this.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, bounce a little to the right, go back up.
Oh, use your drone and you can push it.
What drone?
Oh, that's right. You don't have drone.
Yes. I say that's one of the problems here is I'm still working without drone. Having to use clever ways to get around things.
If you haven't gotten drone by this point, because you've already searched drone location, right?
Yeah.
Then, basically, if you don't find drone by then, it's a good idea to search Iribu, Apsu, and Z again, kind of thing.
Hmm.
Because that's where it's going to get re-rolled to if it's not in its original location.
It's good to know.
Yeah. Because basically, when it
let me down.
re-rolls, it goes from the location you're at and goes to all previous locations only. It doesn't re-roll it to a later location.
Okay.
Yeah, because you don't want to create a soft lock by doing that, right?
Let's go back to the start then.
Yeah.
Lock my save point here. Because I'm going to go check something that you showed me that is possible to check. And I'm just like, that's stupid. It shouldn't be a thing. But I'm just curious with what's down here because I'm probably not going back here later.
You can check both these rooms.
How do you get the upper one?
From the save point, you know, the bubbles to your right.
Oh, yeah, I remember you were showing me about the save point thing.
Although you don't have drone right now, actually, so...
That's a health note. I'll grab it real quick.
Oh, yeah. That's always nice.
If I can get myself into the wall. Actually, do you need red coat to get into the wall, or can you do it with trench?
You can do it with trench. And I usually use analog because D-pad is garbage on this one.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, you gotta go straight down right, and straight down right again, then straight down left.
Getting that to work sometimes can be a bit of a pain.
Yeah.
I figured it's not worth it. Bigger waste of time than it is to...
Yeah, I can usually do it pretty fast, but... I don't know.
Well, it's not one of those things that I practiced, so...
Yeah.
I think I only have one viable thing to check here.
Just the one room at the top, yeah.
Yeah. Because I can't really do much in the password rooms.
One thing that I keep forgetting, and you did too right there, is you could just jump and dash up to climb that whole thing.
Oh, I mean, I generally do the jumps anyways, because I have to do them every time I start a run, so it's like, I'd rather just jump them and get the good practice of trying to hit it as frame perfect as possible.
Yeah. See, once I have high jump, I find that's kind of like bad practice because the gravity's different with high jump. You know what I mean? So you get a false sense of security.
Oh, I mean, for me, I don't really see that much of a difference. It's just a matter in the timing of hitting the ground.
Because you do fall at a slower rate when you have high jump. That's been proven. There's a spot where, like, if you walk off with high jump, you'll go over an enemy. But if you walk off without high jump, you'll go and hit the enemy. Yeah.
No, actually, I want that one. Should be this one.
And this was also done with a task, so that to guarantee that all the inputs and timings were exactly the same between both things. All we did was take away the item before running the task, you know?
Right. Speaking of the tasks, I watched that dev commentary task, and I was just like, what the hell, guys?
Yeah.
Maybe I can't get that one. No, I guess I can't. I need red code or... Because I don't... Yeah, I can't jump high enough for that one.
You should see how fast the randomizer gets done by the task.
Like, oh, yeah, I haven't seen a randomizer.
6 minutes? On a similar seed to the one that I did 10 minutes?
Oh, jeez. I bet it is. It's got to be, what, like 4 minutes?
Yeah, it's a well, it's a 6-minute run, and it saves 4 minutes on the run.
That's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, I mean, it's everything, frame perfect and gotta go fast for sure.
Right. Like, and it does one thing that humans will never do. If you remember from the task video, when he goes through Indy and he's just grappling the roof the whole time,
Oh God,
right?
it's like, and every time
That
I
is
watch that, it gives me a headache because I'm just like, this is
Yeah.
so insane.
Yeah, that's literally impossible with human hands. Like, you're literally doing, the lock grapple clip that we do?
Right.
You're basically doing that over and over and over and over and over and over because it zips you forward each time you do that.
That's ridiculous.
Instantly. Yeah. That takes pixel perfect and frame perfect accuracy to keep up like constantly like that and as fast as they were doing it. So, literally. That's the one thing that is not human viable, not even by me.
Damn it. I figured this probably wasn't going to be anything. I have to actually go back to start again because I can't get out of there. But I was like, screw it, check it. At this point,
Right.
I'm pulling at strings, actually.
Mm-hmm. You still have places in Apsu to look, like lots of places.
Oh yeah, I'm heading back into Apsu.
You also have Ukana to check eventually as well.
Yeah, if I don't find anything in Apsu on my second pass through here, I'm just heading to Ukana and hoping for the best.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, not the way I want to go. I'm going to go down. Because I rechecked everything up here. In particular, if I remember correctly, I wasn't able to actually go down here, which yep, looks like I'm correct.
Yeah, you never checked down there under the boss area.
Ah, there we go.
What'd you find?
Drone.
Nice.
So I've got
So that
drone.
opens up a whole bunch.
That does open up a whole bunch in a lot of awkward places, unfortunately, but we'll make it work.
Let's see, looking at your items now, you have exactly what you would have minus white coat for Ukana progression.
Yeah, that seems accurate. I'm gonna go check down a very terrible hallway. So I'm gonna save here.
It's nice being able to save and still be able to warp back to the beginning too.
It's not something I usually use. Like, I almost never actually use that function, and then I say that, and then you come on stream and I get something like this, and it's like, well, great.
Mm-hmm.
Look at me being a big fat liar that I never use it. Alright, these ones are faster shit. Okay. Um. There we go. Ah, the other one off timed.
If you want to really save yourself a bunch of time and effort, just stand underneath them and let them jump over you and lock and kill them.
Really?
Yep.
I never actually knew that was a thing with these ones. That's... Alright. Alright, I like it. There you go, pro strats.
Yep. Easier with the red ones because, like, they're slower and they jump a little further, but doable.
Oh. Oh, come on. Nope. One ran at me and off-centered itself and... Not worth it. Let's see here. There wasn't a thing there. Got that one. Check that one. I think there's only one thing left here for me to check that I can get right now that I haven't checked yet.
According to your map, you have a few.
Oh, there's going to be all kinds of stuff everywhere because there's a lot that I just don't bother to pick up for the sake of saving time.
Oh, yeah.
But thinking about it, it's like the only thing I can think of is the drone spot back out in the front area. It's about the only thing I can still think of that I haven't checked in this area altogether. And I've seen stuff there often enough that I will bother to go back rather than just going back to start and...
Yeah, I've seen teleport down there, and I've seen red code, I think, as well.
I've seen red code there. I don't think I've seen teleport, but
I think on one seed I've seen teleport.
Oop, wrong side.
I was so happy too because I'm like, oh, convenient. I can go check the other spot now.
Right. It's like that's probably one of the more convenient spots to find it, especially if you get drone early.
Yeah, especially if you get drone early. If you get drone and grapple early, it's a godsend because, like, normally you can't get down there without a coat, but with grapple you could do the grapple flip down.
Heck, I've seen lab coat down here. So, I mean, it's worth it to go down there and check if you have the drone.
Exactly.
Man, I feel really bad for Thoriel when he goes to play this run. Because he's been playing all my daily seeds, and...
Yeah.
Oh, is he in for it with this one?
Yep.
So right about now, I'd be probably in my search for a red coat.
Let's see here. If I had to take a guess how long this seed would have taken me, let me see here.
You'd have finished it like an hour ago?
Let me be the judge of that. Give me a second.
That's a joke because I'm only at an hour 10.
Go through here.
How long would it have taken you on a blind run? Is the real question.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do right now in my head. Like, what I would have done blind. Like, even though I see the items, I still would have went to these places, kind of thing.
Right.
So I would have had to go all the way here, then come back here. Then go here. Then go this way. Then I couldn't get to that until I went all the way here. Then I would have to come all the way back here to get that. Which I probably...
Oh, I've been trying to get an answer out of you for a while. Why is it that when do vision skips, sometimes in this particular fight, regardless of how you came in here to skip it, it seems like just sometimes the drone pops out at the end for its little animation, and sometimes it's just the sound effect.
You want to know why?
Yeah, say, any idea why that actually happens?
I know exactly why. You know the little switch that you flick over by a grapple? The one that opens up the area to get the grapple with the 3 fucking laser beams, and then the repair drones start coming out?
Oh, yeah. Oh, because you did never open the thing. Okay.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Oh, hello. We'll never turn down an extra power node.
I'm actually very surprised it didn't cause a crash at all, to be honest.
What?
That, like, us not triggering that, and then that being part of
oh, yeah. Scene. Like, I could see why it would and it wouldn't. Because it's like separate triggers for it to play the sound effect to make the drone come out, and it's like, well, the drone's locked behind a wall, it just moves against the wall and nothing happens, so big whoop. If anything, I would have expected it to like cause a soft lock because the drone continuously tries to move out and over towards like where Trace is through the door and stuff.
No, well, I was thinking it would cause a crash because of a null reference.
Yeah, okay.
The sprite isn't set for that drone type until you hit the switch.
Right.
And so it would return null. But thankfully Tom had a null check. So
thanks, Tom. Appreciate it.
Yeah. It's like he expected us to do that.
So, that was another thing I wanted to talk about and just kind of get your opinions on, because it's been mentioned at GDQ before that, like, Tom always kind of figured, like, why did developers take bugs and glitches that don't really affect the player experience out of the game, you know, things that are helpful. And the prime example being, like, drone flying, how we just, you know, reset drones, teleport, and do that kind of thing. And it was one of the things that he purposely left in the game despite knowing it was a thing. Oh, hello, Redcoat. So he, like, purposely left it in the game, and it's like...
Oh, look at that. Redcoat, baby.
It's like, now we just need to teleport, I'm good to go. So it's like, I always thought it was really interesting that he had that nice philosophy of, like, people are going to use this and whatnot. And it's like, I lost my train of thought on where I was going with this.
His mentality is, if it doesn't soft lock the game, then leave it. He really enjoys watching speedruns and what speedrunners can come up with and see how we can break the game, you know, with the tools that are given to us. So...
Right, and so
it's always been interesting.
The point I was trying to get to, now that I can think straight, now that I'm out of there, is just, what's your take on that? What's your opinion on, like, his opinion?
I'm of the same opinion. If it don't break the game, like if it don't crash the game, and it's something that speedrunners would enjoy, don't fix it. So, like, a good example, we found something in a game recently where, like...
Shoot. I need teleport to actually get up here, don't I?
I'm trying to think how to explain this. So, uh, imagine if you clip something just right, you could create like this zip, right? But the problem is you would only get this zip in one situation,
Mm.
and if you don't get that situation, you're soft locked. And so, like, one of those kind of situations, it's like you don't want to patch it because, like, you want people to be able to do stuff with it. But on the other side, if you don't patch it, you're going to have a lot of people getting stuck and having to quit and reload their saves because they can't progress anymore, right? So it just becomes a battle of, like, trying to weigh out which ones
It's the
are worth
balancing
keeping.
effect of like what's worth keeping that's not super game breaking, and what's even super game breaking that's worth keeping because it doesn't detriment the average person.
Exactly.
Ooh, if teleport's up here, I will come back and grab that power node because I will never turn down a power node ever.
Like, recently I showed something to Tom, and I wanted to see his thoughts on it, and he gave me the same quote as always, right? It's like, if it doesn't break the game,
Oh no, I have
not
green
gonna
shot
fix
active
it.
still. I gotta really start remembering to exit out of that. I'm sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, and so, like, he was like, if it doesn't break the game, we're not gonna fix it. And I like that mentality, you know what I mean? Because it allows us to do some pretty cool stuff in the end, right?
Oh. Right, I actually can't get back out of here, can I? Can you get back out of here? Without teleport?
Without teleport? No.
Cool. That's fine. It's a short walk back there. I feel like personally, I think it's a great mentality to have of like if it's not going to impact the average person, like prime example being things like drug skip, temple skip. It's like the average person is not going to find these things. Like the average person might by some weird chance find drug skip because I mean it's not that hard to just grapple onto a pipe as you're going up on accident.
Yeah.
But all they're gonna do is end up in the upper spot and just be stuck and just say quit and not do it again. So it's like
Right.
it's probably something that's not going to really affect them.
Exactly. Like, stuff like that requires, like, you do an action that is not a usual action. You know what I mean?
Right, and
So,
so it's
like,
like
stuff
even
like
on that
it's
note,
like,
it's like the average person, if they did that, to be at that particular point and be able to do that, they've probably already beat Vision.
right.
So then, somebody could probably bumble their way through just walking out of the room.
Yeah, exactly. And also, like, that was another big thing, was, like, the crash there, too. Which I ended up fixing so that way you guys don't get a crash if you walk left by accident.
I mention that all the time, actually, and people are like, wait, that got fixed? And I was like, yeah, no, PGR fixed that forever ago.
Yep. Yeah, it was as simple as putting a laser door in front of the door.
I mean, I don't think Tom ever expected anybody to actually get up there in the first place. So,
Right. He didn't even design anything after that. Like, so, yeah. He did not expect you to be up there. And the funny thing is, too, like, the room is different that we do drug skip in when Vision is alive versus when he's dead, which is the only reason it's even possible.
Yeah,
there's a pipe on the right-hand side, which gives you a little roof above to do the grapple clip off of. Otherwise, that doesn't exist in the normal map. We only found out about that because of the free cam thing that we do.
And like that brings into like another thing that I, whoops, saved it. That brings into like another thing that I found interesting in like one of the videos I had Tom in it, which I think was in the dev commentary one. Watching the test go through something, he's just like, I have no idea what just happened. And it's really funny to hear the developer of a game just admit that they have no clue what happened.
Right.
I'm gonna grab this just to be on the safe side because I'm dying a little bit. Missed it.
I love how most people don't realize that that's hollow.
I swear I actually didn't know until... I can't get this one. I didn't know until, like, yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, I jumped onto Thoriel's stream because he was streaming, and I was like, oh, okay, I got a little bit of free time. I'll jump on, give him a follow and whatnot, because he did the same for me, and it was like... I was watching him just do stuff and commenting here and there, and I saw him do it, and I was like, today I learned that's hollow. Okay, so it's not here. Big brain. Where am I going? I can think of at least one place it would take red coat that I'm gonna go check since it's not too far off. And mostly because I never get it, and so I wouldn't be surprised if teleport was hiding there. Also, you said you've never seen something spawn in some place. So the question here is it white coat or is it teleport?
It's white coat.
Oh, okay, well. I almost forgot this, and I've got the room below me as well, too, because I didn't get that earlier. I don't think I'm going to beat my estimate on this one. Which is sad, but I mean, it all happens.
Depends. It all depends.
Well, I mean, everything depends on something. But it, in general, takes me around somewhere between like 8 and 15 minutes, depending on how good at it I am, to clear Maru.
Like, if I were doing this in a race right now, because of the whole handicap rule, I have to find drone teleport. By this point, I would have had it.
You would have had it.
Yeah.
Shoot. Oh, I
just
killed
because
that one.
of how I do my grid searching. Basically, like, as soon as I know I can get somewhere, if it's like within route of a few other things, I will go for it right away. Because, like, again, I helped write this whole thing, so I kind of know where it's going to start moving things to, like, where it's going to start spawning next thing. So even though I can't be 100% sure where a specific item will be, I have a vague idea of, like, where to search depending on how things generate, because I know what kind of logic it's thinking, essentially. At one point, I actually had it logging the entire thing to a file just so I could read back the log and see exactly what the randomizer was thinking every time it would generate, just to get more familiar with it.
Oh, I'm just thinking of something else too. Like, I hate doing things in certain orders, but it's like sometimes you just don't get the opportunity otherwise.
Yep. Yeah, sometimes you don't, yeah.
I can't make that. I have to go around.
Like, sometimes just searching a single area till completion, it can work good for you, and then other times it can work horribly out of your favor, because, like, there'll be times where an entire area will be a complete write-off, right? So sometimes it's just choosing those key areas that it's kind of pointing you towards.
Oh, no, actually it's down here, isn't it? Nope, it's down there. Good old ion beam spot.
Oh, yeah.
I love the fact. I love the fact that you taught me how to do that little, just grapple thing like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it saves so much time sometimes, and other times it throws me off route, and I'm like, I shouldn't have done that.
Right. But it definitely comes in handy.
Oh, yeah, okay. Had to make my brain think about what I was doing. You do seeds where it gives you the same basic kind of pattern of stuff so often that you eventually kind of just stop thinking. It just becomes force of habit. It's like, oh, I'm going to just travel through here and here and here. And
yeah.
then something like this comes along and you've got to rethink about stuff, and it's weird.
So, like, a good example, if I get grapple first, I'm not actually going up to check first. I'm actually going out of the first section of Iribu and down to the bottom just before Apsu, and I'm checking the health node and the peekaboo room right away. Because if I'm lucky, the health node location or the peekaboo room could be high jump or red coat. And if I'm really lucky, I'll get them back to back, you know? But I have still yet to see that seed. But
with them back to back like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
But I've had one where red coat was down there right after getting my grapple at the beginning. I've actually had multiples with that scenario. But I have yet to find one that has high jump in the room to the left yet with red coat.
I mean, give it time. You'll find one. Nova. I don't have teleport, so I can't get into Kerma, but I can get into Kerma. I just don't like how I have to go about getting there. Meanwhile, you're probably doing the same thing right now that I was doing with Thoriel yesterday, and just internally screaming.
What was that? Right. Sorry. Got a text.
Oh, so you're probably doing the same thing right now that I was doing with, No, this is where I wanted to go. Same thing I was doing watching Thoriel yesterday, and just internally screaming, because you know where it's like, you need to just go here! Just...
Right.
Yeah, this is definitely a weird outlier on my run, and I think I'm gonna have to take Falcon's advice. And if I do get into GDQ, have somebody run a seed beforehand just to verify that it can be done in a reasonable amount of time.
Yep.
Because again, my estimate's an hour and a half, and it's like it's like, as much as I would really love to just get up on stage and be like, here's a seed at complete and utter random, because that shows skill to just get on stage and take something that nobody's ever seen before and go for it. And shoot, I can't get back up without going back to the save point. I'm gonna get that in a minute.
And that's why sometimes it's nice to pad an estimate extra.
Extra
big.
My estimate is usually, my estimate is an hour and a half. My runs are usually somewhere in the neighborhood of like an hour 10 to an hour 20. So I figured the extra like 10-15 minute leeway is probably safe enough to do.
See, in my opinion, I would have done more. And this is coming from someone who people call a task bot.
Right.
Right? My fastest is 10 minutes. My average is 30 minutes. But I know any given seed could still take me up to an hour and a half.
Right.
So I probably, in my case, say an hour and a half for me. So an hour longer than my actual average. Which is a lot. But in a randomizer's case, you want that extra padding, just in case.
Right, but I mean, this is also coming back to like the situation of like, I didn't want to set the estimate for... Ah, shoot, you can't get out of here. Nice. Pro. I didn't want to set the estimate for like too long, because then it's something that, you know, huge time lengthy runs are... I would probably guess maybe a little less likely to get in. But and it's also possible for me to, you know, have the seed padded and just have somebody work one out that's like, okay, this is like taking me an hour, which means it shouldn't take me more than, in the general theory of how things work.
Yeah.
Because you still never know.
I'm just letting you know, because like I work with No Reset, which is basically the Canadian GDQ, right? And we would rather you overestimate than barely pad it. Because like if you go underestimate, it helps in times where we fall behind and need to kind of like get back on a schedule. Although it can also screw up schedules too. Right, because you'll have runners who aren't paying attention, and you know they'll be expecting their run to start at X amount of time, and then all of a sudden your run ends super early, and boom, right?
Yeah.
What do you do, right? But
and like that's the other reason why I
that is, if they wanted to, like, just to like make sure like the thing just is more seamless, they could always let you do extra things or have extra time to thank people or whatever, just because you're able to save all that time, right? And so it just gives the event better, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? You know, because like if everyone keeps going behind or just gets barely in, you know, it gets hard to save time later if a lot of people lose time, and then yeah, it's just nice having those extra padded estimates. Now, an hour might be a little much, you know what I mean?
Right.
But if you were gonna go a completely blind and not have anyone test it, I would definitely do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But like that's also my other thing is like the 2 seeds we did last night got red code right off the bat and finished them in like just over half an hour. Beat my PB twice.
Right.
I can only assume this isn't the way I should be going, because if I remember right, I was watching you go through here and I was like, can you get through here with just high jump grapple and red coat? And you're like, I don't know, let's find out.
Yeah, and then I figured it out, and it was possible.
It is possible, and I'm just thinking about it now. I'm like, I shouldn't be trying this, because this shouldn't be in logic for advanced.
Yep. It's definitely not in logic.
Where can I go? Actually, I can get to a couple of places. But like this is gonna be a big outlier on like my seeds. It's like usually I'm good with whatever time I get and whatever seed I get, but like this one is just throwing me for a loop. Okay, so it's not that. We're just gonna actually do this because it's a little bit faster and I want a health refill. That was a health node to my left, and I've got plenty of health. Oh yeah. I almost forgot about this room. I checked this room so little that it's one of the ones that just never comes to mind. There it is. How long have you been waiting for me to come back here?
A long time. Technically, you could have got in there when you had drone and grapple.
Yeah,
So
I
you
know,
had,
but it's like this goes back
but
to
you
me.
had address bomb and drone as well, which
Yeah.
is all you really
Oh
need.
god, yeah, you're right. I could have got that actually forever ago, and I just didn't think about it.
Yep.
Screw this. I'm not going up this way. I hate doing that jump to get up there because it's like while I can, it's like it breaks my hands. So I'm gonna end up probably 10-ish minutes overestimated, which I guess isn't terrible. For what this insane seed was. It's like that's a room I'm gonna have to start acknowledging more. Since I know that apparently teleport can show up in there at the very least. I don't think I've ever seen anything else major pop up in there, personally.
I'm not sure. I'll be right back. Ugh.
I've learned that I don't like torturing myself with Sentinel, by the way. Did a few runs last night where I only had like 5 or 6 health. And it was not great.
Alright. I'm back.
Welcome back. So since I'm about to do it, because I get various opinions all over the place, Willow's probably being my favorite so far, is how do you like my Sentinel skip method?
It's definitely interesting.
Like, I know it's a little bit slower, but
definitely safer. But I definitely prefer just doing it normal.
and see, that's the problem. Is just I couldn't get the double grapple thing down or going right for me, and I'll grab that.
I'll tell you though, like, if it, like, weren't for the fact that you have to take a hit to get into position properly, I'd probably like it more.
Yeah,
So
I
you could
mean,
jump, like, you could, like, do a little hop and set yourself up, but, like, the odds of you getting the timing down fast
Right.
enough is really slim.
so I mean, that's what Sabir showed me, was she used grapple to realign herself to the door properly. And I'm like, okay, that's cool, but you're gonna do that while taking hits, and it's like, can't you just take a hit and get knocked back and... Oh, hi, Kilver. And just get knocked back into the door? And she's like, I think you get knocked through the door from that. I'm like, I don't think you do. And so she sat there for a minute and tried, just like, yeah, nope, that's perfect. And I was like, okay, I know exactly how to skip Sentinel now, and I know how to sub-hour the game now. And that was... That right there was the key that finally got me my sub-hour, was just being able to get past Sentinel. Because up until then, it was a lot of luck.
Yeah.
Thank you, by the way, for this whole right side disco hallway thing. That doing that just makes disco hallway so much easier. Like, I watched, I think it's your video at least.
No, I use a different method.
No, I know somebody has a a method of just going up the right side and taking no damage going through Disco Hallway, and I was like, that's super easy, and I love it. And
I do it a little bit differently, and it's actually interesting the way that I do it, because like I use the walls to line up all my positions essentially.
Right.
And I never take a bit of damage every time I do it, so it's like a consistent thing.
Somebody put up the right side idea of just going straight up the right side, and it's fairly safe, and it's been working out for me. So I'm like, okay, I'll take it.
What's it called?
Now for the fun part.
The hardest one for me to figure out was the droneless one, and doing it all first try.
Yeah, that's all. That's insane. Just no drone.
Yeah, the first section.
I by the way,
to figure out, but the last section I couldn't figure it out for the longest time, how to get past the last drone.
Right.
And then Beef was like, "Oh, I figured that out." I'm like, "What?" As soon as I saw that, I'm like, "Yeah, completed my route now."
Nice.
And then I finally got it recorded.
I, by the way, plan to do this same thing for GDQ, where if I have Flamethrower or Fat Beam on the third round of hitting a Thanos, I am planning to clip out and just kill it that way, because I think it's hilarious.
Right.
Just because I want to be on stage and be like, so this is a thing too, by the way.
Right.
Okay, so 11 minutes over estimate. Not absolutely terrible, all things considered. That
right.
Kind of weird teleport place. I've never seen teleport there. Where was Lab Coat?
Oh, you know Kerr, right above high jump, the wall that you can drill with drone?
Oh, in the long spot with drone?
Yep.
Oh. And the 2 times I was over there, I didn't have drone.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's a weird spot for Lab Coat.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here.
But alright, so not a terrible run, but yeah, this is definitely the reason why it's like I want to find somebody to find a seed for me to run if I get into GDQ, because that way...
I can find you a good seed.
Right. That way we can ensure that I can keep either within or at least very, very close to my estimate. 10 minutes over is not terrible, but I mean, it still kind of sucks a little bit. So
you give me a few parameters for something that like you would like, and I'll come up with a seed for you.
I will get back to you on that. We'll work on that. In the meantime,
let me know if you want like early, mid game, or late game Redcoat and stuff like that, and then I'll find something that even if it's late game Redcoat, you'll be within your estimate, kind of thing.
Excellent.
So you just let me know
absolutely
how you want it.
I don't know if you can find it or not, because I don't know how the logic builds it. You'd probably have to find it. Probably would have to be a Masochist seed. I'd like to have a seed that is first item Redcoat, and then none of the guns.
There's no seeds like that,
yeah,
actually.
It's like I just want all of the guns super out of the way, so you kind of have to go through everything with Redcoat.
Yeah. The closest thing to that would be the one that I ran in 10 minutes, which starts with grapple, and then you get Redcoat not long after.
Yeah, I gotta go dig up this 10-minute run and find that. And if you guys want to see VGR play some really insane runs, go follow him over on his channel, because you still stream here and there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A lot less recently, just because, you know. But I have been trying to get back into it more often again. Yeah, I do miss it.
And if you think some of the stuff I was doing was crazy, then, well, VGR's stuff is just absolutely insane. Because, remember when I started doing these and I said I'm not crazy enough to play on Masochist? Well, VGR is.
Yeah. Masochist was made for me.
But alright, we are going to get out of here. Do you want to see anything before we go, VGR?
If you guys enjoyed the randomizer and have any feedback, feel free to join us over on the official Discord. You can find that over on speedrun.com. And feel free to leave any feedback you guys have. We're taking as much feedback as we can from the community because we want this to be as great as it can be. So, other than that, have a wonderful night, everybody.
Right. You guys have a wonderful night. If you guys are watching on YouTube, thank you for watching there. Thank you, everybody, for joining and watching the stream. And we will talk to you all later.
Take care, everybody.